truth over fear, and the truth will set you free. So I'm going to talk about the Jesuits and the Vatican, and just giving you guys more proof that, they're running the show, and everything that is going on is by design. So let's get into it. You must understand, it's all good show and it's all good theater. Only the real perverts and criminals get to the top of this satanic chain of deception, and true evil finally become the grand masters of their own puppets. Their perversions and their strange practices are all very easy to blackmail and manipulate for the Jesuits. So that's great for the Vatican headquarters and serves their evil purpose of total domination and mind control slavery. And for the so-called honest ones who don't participate in this kind of perversions but are still a key part of their New World Order plot, well, the Jesuits can still manage to buy them out, offering them a powerful position in any field, and lots of money to make them shut up and keep on serving the Satan in their Masonic lodges or their local rotaries. So the Jesuits keep everybody by the stick, using people in the Monte Carlo P2 Illuminati Gladio Mafia to coordinate and control secret societies. These people, these creepos, are the Vatican assassins, for real. No jokes are allowed with the dons of Monte Carlo. Anybody who gets out of control will die from the mysterious hands of the mob. So nobody talks. They're all very scared of even opening their mouths in front of certain brothers of that society or mafia. And at the top levels of the various occult groups working for the Jesuits and pulling the strings of this idiotic, fake Templar game in the hands of a bunch of corrupt European aristocrats are, as usual, the Knights of Malta. In England, the Masonic Knights Templar is also Knights of Malta because it's just a common great priory show for poor middle-class idiots in the hands of the Queen and the Vatican. But they don't have the same privileges as the Vatican Knights of Malta. The Knights of Malta were actually the enemies of the Templars and made a deal with the Vatican 700 years ago to eliminate the real Templars and take their churches and all their possessions. And now, after eliminating any trace of genuine Templarism, the Knights of Malta, they work with the Jesuits to control the fake Templars and the Freemasons. And everything that has to do with this is just the Vatican's bullshit to rule the military side of the New World Order plot with another fake myth created by usual suspects, as all modern Templar orders are simply Vatican-driven sheep. At the top level, the Monte Carlo P2 Lodge in Super Catholic Monte Carlo is simply a Knights of Malta center for ultimate psyop manipulation and blackmail, plus the usual business deals. The ecclesiastical laws of England, Ireland, France, and America now give the Pope absolute superiority over all governmental laws, decisions, and orders governing these countries. That would normally be a reasonable concession to God. However, the Vatican is a cult and is all about power, control, and wealth, masked by the veil of a national religious cult supervised by the false vicar of Christ. In all fairness, many of the individual parish priests are gentle, religious, and well-meaning people who are just as confused about everything as you are. It is the Jesuits and the priests who are promoted to bishop and cardinal who you need to be wary of. They are generally more political, aggressive, and corrupt than they are religious. They're unholy men, which they claim to be holy, but they're not. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. That's why none of these priests are ever prosecuted for pedophile sex or any of these laws that they ever break. They're always exonerated. And that's because the Vatican is at the center of the Illuminati P2 group, and that's part of their business. The Vatican is in bed with them, and the Pope can exonerate everybody and absolve them of their crimes and sins. Priestly perversions make it virtually impossible for a fallen priest to ever leave the church, because once he does, he's no longer protected by the church. Every time a priest slips up, the Pope gains a permanent soldier who cannot refuse a Vatican accommodation. And keep in mind, the United States Congress adopted the Holy Bible as one of the organic laws of the United States. Organic means a foundational law. What Pope Innocent III missed during his editing of the Holy Bible is the fact that the Bible eliminates enforcement of all man-made laws in the first 5 books, which then becomes another prime example of how the laws of a corrupt government contradict each other. And as long as they're in power, they don't care. And as the proverb goes, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Nothing could be more truthful in all fairness. You all need to know that, except for about 1/2 dozen of the men who we have elected to a state or national political office, are actually much more corrupt than any of you ever imagined. They have sex slaves, perform mind control experiments upon them, take drugs, arrange murders, engage in pedophile sex, prostitution, and have been involved in white slavery and the sale of children and teenagers to foreign potentates or other monarchs of these sick societies from different countries. Anything to make more money and for their personal pleasure, with absolutely no accountability or conscience. They are the true sociopaths of the society and should be in prison. And I'm not excluding any of the United States presidents, congressmen, or heads of state in this description. And that's the absolute truth. But they're only half at fault because we stupid Americans put them there and never paid any attention to what they were doing. And we accepted every lie that they told us. The high contracting powers in Europe and America decided that we common, illiterate, and unwashed slaves are better off not having this and other knowledge or information readily available to us, because that would make us all as intelligent as they are, and that could make us difficult to control. Intelligent slaves have always been perceived as a threat to the plantation owners, emperors, monarchs, dictators, and other despots. And we common folk are perceived by them in this same light. As hard and tasteless as this comment is to digest, the middle and poor classes are viewed by all governments and by the royal and elite of the world as ignorant slaves that require management by and through slave driving program techniques. Too many slaves are much too difficult to control, and so programs to reduce populations in addition to wars have constantly been engineered and employed without our consent or knowledge. Hence, the recent growing number of cancer and AIDS patients and other diseases, which have been created by government laboratories under military defense contracts, were then introduced into our society by air, water, and contaminated blood. During World War II, Nazi scientists experimented with a toxic substance called fluoride and discovered that watered-down doses of fluoride ingested over a long period of time makes the human mind more malleable or easier to influence. Other tests involving an acid compound called chlorine, ingested in small doses over an extended period of time, severely injures the human immune system. Today, all public water in America is treated with chlorine and fluoride chemicals, and we have all been told for the last 7 years that this is good for us. All humans should actually be ingesting small doses of alkaloids, applied or added to their boiled drinking water to maintain their natural immunity from childbirth. All children are born with an alkaloid system. However, due to the health benefits derived from alkaloids, the U.S. government has prohibited the sale of all water purification devices that alkalizes drinking water. And just another part of their slave driving programs by poisoning the water, the foods, and everything that's around us so that it's easier to control our minds. And most people actively participate and cooperate in these slave driving programs. And the most obvious of these programs is professional sports or competitions such as basketball, football, baseball, wrestling, etc. Team sports are much easier to manipulate because they involve so much activity, whereas wrestling is the only sport that appears phony all the time, even when participants are paid extra to physically assault each other. Just so you understand, all of these professional athletes truly are the consummate athletes in their own right, and it really would be quite a spectacle to watch them legitimately attempt to win a competition, but it could also result in their last and cost them a profitable career. So games, matches, and coaches need to be manipulated. All of the players occasionally suffer real injuries from accidents, but it still amounts to nothing more than the glitz and glimmer of Hollywood, just on a different plane level. The purpose of these professional sports is to entertain the masses and to inflate and expand commerce. It's all about the money. Unfortunately, the public is bamboozled into paying horrendous prices to view these sports competitions. They are huddled into stadiums with uncomfortable seating and sometimes exposed to the elements. They're usually offered expensive refreshments to purchase, and members of the public are encouraged or enticed to wager bets on the outcome of each competition. The team owners receive a percentage of those bets in exchange for a prearranged list of wins and losses, a percentage of the ticket sales, concessions, television advertisements, and merchandising. The owners even attempt to perform like they're elated or concerned, but it's all an act. Former athletes are hired by the media to discuss the players, teams, forecast the outcome, and narrate the competitions. These star narrators help add more drama to the game, and they help cover up bad acting and botched plays by legitimizing or chastising the actions of plays. Referees, coaches, and players who react, get kicked out, strike out, miss a shot, push an opponent, miss a block, or drop a pass. It's all good because drama sells tickets, increases bettings, and sells merchandise, and we pay the price. The success of these professional programs also encourages high schools and colleges to entertain similar athletic programs because of the extra collateral that can be earned for the schools, and their unwittingly help to legitimize the professional sports. All these sports promote combat, competition, and separate and eliminate the weak from strong. Strong slaves are more productive, it's a fact. These sport competitions help drive the public mind and pay little attention to what government and business is doing to them. And they help promote sales, patriotism, and loyalty before each competition. All this creates and sustains a multi-billion-dollar commercial enterprise and government from which the royal and elite classes all profit. So I just wanted to share with you guys that the reason these fucks can mind control the masses is because of the food that we eat, the sugary drinks, all the trash food, the water, all these specifically designed agendas just so that they can control us, so that we don't do our own research. And let's research, guys. Let's do the opposite of what we usually do on a daily basis. Why don't we go out, take action, gain knowledge, spread truth? I mean, what are we waiting for? Are we waiting for a whole collective or humanity to fall? Or are we going to do something about it? Because right now, nobody's doing anything about it. They're just sitting around, listening to what is being fed. TV is, sending these flashes, backlashes in music. You got GMOs and food we eat, all these chemicals in the water. I mean, what else is it going to take for us to get up and do something? It's up to us. And until we stand and come together, ain't nothing going to happen. But I just wanted to share that information with you, and hopefully this can spark some type of movement or, action. And I just want to thank you guys again for supporting the channel. Do your research, read some books, get information, get the right information, because the information that all these true channels are putting out are secrets of the Vatican. This is leaked information that's getting out. They don't want us, to tell it like it is, or tell the truth. So fuck them. Let's come together. Let's do something about it. Let's get out there. Let's pound pavement. Ask yourself, what can you do? That's what I asked myself. I said, what can I do? And I did, and I made the decision, and I went out there and I did something. So. And another thing is nobody's talking about Gematria. Everybody's scared to talk about it, even in the ranks, the high ranks, the dark occult, the priest class, or whatever you want to call them. They're not talking about it. No platform will talk about it. And there's a reason for it, because Gematria is what connects everything. So truth to you guys, and the truth is simple. It's the lives of